So it's November the 5th. You know, these next 2 nights are as good as it gets for an evening hunt in November because of this red moon. It's overhead, it's hitting right before dark, and this is probably the best chance of catching a big buck moving during daylight these next 2 nights. You know, in this spot, you couldn't design a better rut spot than what I found over here. You know, we've got 2 major fence lines intersecting in this corner. I've got a creek bed that's cutting through here diagonally, and there's virtually, you know, 6, 7 different travel corridors all coming together right in this low spot. You couldn't design a better spot for early November than what I've got right here. Red moon. First red moon in November. This is as good as it gets for an evening hunt. We've got a really big deer on this farm. Perfect to win for this spot tonight though. Got down in this creek and walked it about 300 yards to get into the stand perfectly quiet. What a beautiful evening. See what happens. So obviously I'm set up here tonight hoping to self-film, you know, shooting this 200-inch deer that I've been hunting all week. We haven't got any pictures of this buck since the first, which was 5 or 6 days ago. Plan is, you know, to get in here early. The wind has switched on me. It's actually blowing in a direction I think this buck could be coming from. But, you know, this stand, the way I've got it set up, I'm probably 30 foot up above this creek. And the plan is, just like always, to wait, you know, right about sunset before these deer are up and moving, and do a little calling and try to catch a big buck in the area, you know, before he's up moving in another direction. Hopefully catch him bedded down, he hears us calling, and starts heading our way right before dark. So it's early. I mean, we're an hour away from sunset. You know, I've got a good solid hour before I'm even going to be thinking about cracking the antlers together. And I hear something behind me in the thicket. I turn around, and here's the giant non-typical coming right to my stand. This deer has really got me at a disadvantage because I'm self-filming. I've got my camera mounted on my left-hand side to film a creek crossing, and he's coming in from behind me on my right. I've got to be on my A game because it is dead calm in this creek bed, and this buck is literally within 20 yards of me in a matter of seconds. And it's taken everything I've got not to go ahead and shoot this deer, and to try to get my camera swung all the way around my body, and all I can basically do is point it straight down. This buck is so close, I can't take a chance on making noise with anything, but I actually managed to get the camera around and get it on this giant whitetail that's literally at the base of my tree. I don't know how much time has gone by, but this buck has been at the base of my tree for way too long without me releasing an arrow. But he's too close, and I couldn't get a shot. Have to actually wait for this buck to move away from the tree and to clear some brush before I can actually, you know, get drawn on him and try to get an arrow in him. And my first shot looks perfect. Hit right where I was aiming, but this buck is acting a little strange. I'm not seeing the blood instantly from this buck. You know, he's not doing his death run. You know, I've got 1 arrow in this buck already, and he's still in bow range. The opportunities at a deer like this don't come around every year, and I've got a chance to hit this buck again. I'm going to take it. I just shot my 4th 200-inch deer. Yes! That deer snuck in behind me. He was right under me for 5 minutes and I couldn't move. I couldn't turn the camera on. I had my hand behind my back trying to get the camera on this deer. I got 2 arrows in him and he just fell in that cornfield, and that is my biggest buck ever. Yes. Okay, so I'm here in Kansas hunting with my good buddy Chris Seymour and my other best friend, the Red Moon. And I just shot my biggest buck ever. I just killed my 4th 200-inch whitetail. Yes. Would you look at that? Oh my gosh. That right there is what dreams are made of. This has got to be one of the proudest moments of my life. What an absolute giant. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. You know, I texted my good buddies Adam Kerman and Chris Seymour about 5:44 right after I shot this deer, and the time on the Moon Guide was 5:41. I mean, it was 2-3 minutes off of that red moon. And I've been following it for 20 years, and every year, and what I see and what I shoot just reinforces that natural pull, that instinct, whatever you want to call it, that drives these mature animals to move during daylight, because that just does not happen all the time. You know, there's something to it. Had 2 incredible encounters this week with 2 great deer that normally probably would have been happy to shoot, but I was here for a specific animal, and I never would have had the opportunity to harvest a 218-inch non-typical if I would have dropped the hammer on either of those bucks. You know, so you've got to stay focused and committed. You know, when you're chasing an animal this caliber, you know, you're never going to get the opportunity if you shoot a lesser buck, you know. And I was as laser focused as somebody could be going after this buck this week, and never going to forget this evening. Never going to forget shooting the biggest buck of my life within, you know, 3 minutes of the red moon. Just day I'll never forget.
The Deer Hunter's Moon Guide tells you the best days, times, and locations to encounter a mature buck on his feet during daylight hours. Are you tired of hunting nocturnal trail camera bucks? Do you ever wonder why bucks only show up during daylight on certain days each year? The Deer Hunter's Moon Guide is here to help. The Moon Guide is unlike any other lunar tool you've ever seen. It's not related to the moon's phase. The Moon Guide utilizes elements such as the moon's gravitational pull, position, and other scientific elements that affect deer movement. Simply spin the Moon Guide dial to find the peak hunting times and best hunting locations for improving your chance of encountering a big buck on his feet. Save time and money by knowing the best days and weeks each year for effective preseason scouting, scheduling time off work, or planning out-of-state hunts by focusing on the Moon Guide's red moon periods. Hunt smarter, not harder. Adam Hayes is one of the few hunters to ever harvest 4 bucks that surpass the 200-inch mark. What's his secret? Adam has been utilizing Moon Guide data for nearly 2 decades, harvesting 10 Boone and Crockett whitetails during this period. Over the past few seasons, Adams shared the Moon Guide with some of his closest hunting partners, and their results have been unprecedented. Are you ready to experience results like this? Don't miss out on your chance to own this incredible hunting tool. Get yours today at DeerSociety.com.